I was supposed to retire in 2020 April. No one knows about it, but I was supposed to retire. I told Sarkar that I can't leave the ABP in this situation.
Then why should people travel to office every day? They should be able to work from home. And then he took it up with the promoters and the board. And thereafter he implemented this remote work, and this was much before.
So he walks the talk. He's very empathetic.
All large European companies, big bosses, and I am going to present my case. They started saying that I come from a very fledgling Indian company, but I want to show you what we have done, what we're doing, what we've done. And gave a short lecture and showed the AV. There was huge applause. A lot of questions. My wife later told me, she got nervous that when he was telling my son, hey, Papa won't be able to answer this question. See, all Goras are asking questions. My son said, don't worry, Mama, Papa is a smart guy, he will do it, don't worry. So after that, I thought I passed. That was my first address to this world media in Amsterdam. I still remember the hotel. And then Destiny played. And today I am in the board of One IFRA for the last 10 years. And 2 years ago I was part of their 5-member nominating committee, which nominates new members in the board and taking out the board members. So I am the only Asian, by the way, in the committee. And they outlive me. So already 15 years now, almost. I'm still there. I'm going to Copenhagen now on May, the board meeting and Congress in Copenhagen. So I'm going there.
Mr. Purkayastha, again, ABP is a venerable institution. This is the 102nd year, 102 years. While your tenure, and this was again in 1982, Telegraph was launched. Telegraph was launched in 1980. And it was a big milestone and a landmark for the group. Tell us what happened then. Give us your memories of the launch of Telegraph.
Telegraph was a surprise to the media industry as a whole. The first newspaper which came with different look altogether, the kind of masthead and everything changed. M. Akbar was editor. And they all knew, they began a fresh look, and the young generation loved it also. So the Statesman was the biggest newspaper. They are behemoth, Statesman. So nobody thought Telegraph could be number one in Calcutta. And Statesman number started falling, and we became finally number one. It was such a different kind of newspaper. India hasn't seen this kind of newspaper ever. The beautiful printing, way it was edited, way it was displayed, things were displayed. And first time they mastered the color was introduced, red stripe and all. And on the side of mastered the main stories with small photograph and the main stories. The format was different. So from first day it was success.
Fantastic. Now let me move on to, I must make this point. He was 35 years young. He went to Amsterdam, he took his family. That says something about him. I say it in a very serious way, not in a joking way. You talk, your last chapter is called the nest. You cannot separate a person from what he or she is in their personal life. It does imprint how you are. And you give a lot of credit to your wife. Luckily, I had the good pleasure of meeting your son, Dipankar, and if you're a good anchor in family, how can it help you do well professionally? Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a CEO of a business, whatever you are.
Okay. My wife, in my lifetime, many times I become disappointed. I said, nothing will happen. This is the end of me. I can't do anything more. And she continuously gave me assurance and says, I believe in you. You have got something in you. You don't say like that. You will succeed. Again and again this happened. Whenever I failed, they came back with a drooping head. She gave me the energy, the adrenaline to go ahead. So this has definitely played a role in my professional life. But again, my professional life and personal life is completely different. My wife often says, when she comes to me, many times she came to ABP house to drop me in the car. He said, Mr. Purkayastha, moment he gets down from the car, he is different man altogether. The way he walks, the way he behaves, and he'll never look back at me. He never looked back at me and straight walks and goes inside the office. So, one day my son went to my office. He was a young boy in school, I think plus 10 or something. He was sitting outside my room and this thing, reception. For 1 hour he was sitting. Arup Sarkar came here and said, "You are Mr. Purkayastha's son?" Yes. Why are you sitting here? Papa isn't calling me. What? How long are you sitting? For 1 hour. For 1 hour. He came into my room and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I am in a meeting, let me finish it, let him wait." So he came in and he asked me some questions. I said, "Okay." He was standing. I didn't ask him to sit here. Standing, didn't offer a cup of tea. And then he got the answer, went away. He went and told the mama, "I'll never go to Papa's office." The way he behaved with me, he didn't even ask me to sit. He didn't offer me a cup of tea. And he has kept me waiting for one hour. So that's how my personal life and my professional life is why a huge barrier. But again, there is a question. My family has played a big role in my achievement in my professional life.
Mr. Purkayastha, absolutely. I have had a good pleasure to interact with your family and do some conversations with your son. But now let me move to a professional insight that you got in September 2019, which is in the chapter Mid-Air Jolt. And once you read the book, in the book, Mr. Purkayastha talks about the fact that September 2019, he got an insight and he asked himself a question: why should people travel to office every day? They should be able to work from home. And then he took it up with the promoters and the board. And thereafter he implemented this remote work. And this was much before March 2020. Between September 2019 and January 2020, he had made sure a sizable number of colleagues from ABP, whether in Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Pune, and were chosen for a pilot to work from home. How did this insight come to you in September 2019, before COVID?
Actually, I was the first person in the world to do this. I can boast of that. Suddenly thought, why should sales guy be in the office? What do they do in the office? The more they are in the market, the better. Sales guy should be going outside. Why should they be in office? So I talked to, then the idea came, why can't they work from home? Why should they come at all to office? Occupy space, some table, air conditioning, everything is given to them. In office they come and the time is wasted. So I sounded the idea to my team, my executive committee members. Huge opposition to most of them. Only the HR guys supported, remember. Finance said, no, nothing, it is impossible. Finance can't operate from home. Head of finance. Same thing, head of marketing, nobody agreed. I said, then it is a challenge for me, I have to do it. Then I went and met our regional head. I went to Bangalore office. I had one-to-one talk. He said, sir, boss will love to do this. If you can do this, we are all looking. Excellent, I came back, I got more courage. I said, I am implementing this from this date. All these Bangalore, Chennai, Ahmedabad, Pune offices will be closed down. Will be closed down. And you guys will work from home. And it happened. October, just before Pujas, September 2019. And I had to go through a lot of hurdles, it's not easy. do this. I mean, a lot of IT problems were there. I mean, a lot of personal problems came in. So we eliminated this one by one. And finally, it was by March 2020, it was, I mean, honed to perfection. And all the people are very happy. Then came COVID. I was supposed to retire in 2020 April. No one knows about it, but I was supposed to retire. I told Sarkar that I can't leave ABP in this situation. 2020, when lockdown was announced, suddenly I was looking at a screen where there is no ad revenue, zero. So why should they advertise? First of all, no point in advertising. Who will buy? Everybody sitting at home. And advertise for what? Because all the products or services are not moving. Zero logistics. Nothing moves. So what's the point of advertising if people don't get the product? Zero ad revenue, zero circulation revenue. People are not buying newspapers because they thought the newspaper carries COVID. So what to do? I said, till this is over, I am there. I'll be working as a MD and CEO. That was the toughest challenge I faced ever. And I succeeded. Within 2 months, we sat with my executive committee and had charted about 7 or 8 drastic, ruthless decisions. And those were implemented. It was the bulldoze completely. So all offices of ABP were closed down. So we saved a lot of money, by the way. All the leases were terminated, one by one. And people were happy. And secondly, hardly anybody died in ABP. I'm talking about the print part. TV, there was no alternative. ABP print, hardly anybody died. Because they were all working from home. You won't imagine a newsroom which is, full of life at night. From 9 to 12, newsroom is lively. Not a single person in newsroom, telegraph ABP. Only 1 or 2 guys working. Everybody at home. And anybody coming to office had to take permission from HR. If I can, they should give reasons why should they come to office. And this way, people didn't fall sick, they were at home. And those who fell sick at home, we provided proper medical care. And many decisions I took at that time. One is this. Secondly, we said cost must be cut down by 1/3. It was done. Closed down additions, one after another. Guwahati, Patna, all those losing additions were just overnight stopped. So like this, there were 7 or 8 decisions we took. It was implemented, and by 2019, 2021, March that year, I promised that we'll break even this year. I mean, Sarkar said you are talking from your this thing. I do see in sense what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying. We have no revenue, no circulation, nothing. And how will you break even this year? We did a huge promotion saying that newspaper is safe. We took, course from WHO and other organizations and did a series of campaigns. The newsprint doesn't carry the viruses because they're quite porous. And, COVID germs can't last there. And secondly, from the manufacturing plant to delivery boy, everything is not, the newspaper is untouched. We showed our press, automatically newspaper coming and being packed, and we delivered, we given gloves to our hawkers. So delivered with gloves, and gradually circulation improved. People believed in this. Only West Bengal, and if you go to the statistics, only West Bengal and Kerala. Circulation grew almost up to, by the end of the year, up to 80-85% were recovered. In all of the states, it came up to 40, 50, 30%. So it was, this communication helped us in circulation revenue. Then we convinced the advertisers that these are the numbers, please advertise. And so this was a tough job. So by the year end, I still remember, it was not break even. We made a little bit of loss, very little loss that year. That was a big challenge for me. I succeeded, and I put the company on good rails. It was completely delayed, good rails, so that in future, now break even came down hugely. Break even point came down hugely. So now any advertisement that comes is a bonus. And then I told my successor, Dhruvo, now the company, you run the company, should be easy going. Ad should, from zero level, remain like that. Whatever comes is good for you. So I was a very satisfied man when I retired in 2021 April. And that was my biggest challenge and my biggest success. If you ask me what is my biggest success, is to face COVID challenge and come out successfully.
Fantastic. I'll ask only 3 questions and then bring in people like Mr. Gupta, Mr. Sarkar, Pinoyda, Rajiv are in the room, Mr. Sharma. They can ask you questions or share your memories. Nirmal and Avinash can also do that. One is, you talk about one of the failures. This is One India. How it started as a failure. You've seen how Times of India was going into regional markets, and you said that the leaders in the regional market should come together and offer an alternative to Times of India. And initially you called up Rajiv Verma, Hindustan Times, and you called Balaji at the Hindu, and Balaji was not very convinced. But you were at it, and eventually when Navneet became the CEO, they got done. And today, that formulation is yielding, Praveen Kumeshwar is the CEO especially, and Navneet at the Hindu, and Ruba at ABP. The alliance has worked, the One India alliance. The benefits that you espoused 10 years back can be seen now. Tell us how you turned, it seemed like a failure, but you didn't give up.
TOI was we found that TOI was a monolith. It was growing, bulldozing through every this thing. What they're offering is, if you take Bombay, advertisers, if you take Bombay and Bangalore,
I'll give you Calcutta and Chennai.
Delhi is free. Calcutta, a negative. If it's 1,000 rupees, if you take Calcutta, it will be 900 rupees. So they're bulldozing, using Bombay and Bangalore, where they're very strong.
Cross subsidization.
Remember, this kind of price they're offering. So if you take this, what is called, Vinay? The name of this? Vinay, it has a name there.
Mastermind.
So mastermind is really mastermind. So they're using mastermind and bulldozing everywhere. So if you take Bombay, Bangalore, they do very high price because there's no competition there. Very high price and everything else is pretty. So then suddenly struck me that we are all sitting here as the leader of our region. We go deep in the interior of our region, like HT or Hindu or us. So why can't you come together like Star Alliance? Come together and offer a price and reach which TOI can match. So Rajiv Verma was there, Praveen hadn't come that time, Balaji was there, Hindu, and we talked to each other, and then they more or less agreed on this. It's a good idea. So and then got the numbers also. We showed the total reach of these 3 papers is this, and TOI is this. We started advertising. named it One India. So you get a much better deal at a lower price and better reach, and you go deeper into the heartland. But somehow Hindu was not very convinced. Then Balaji went away, retired. A man came from McKinsey, Rajiv Lochan. Rajiv Lochan, he was typical McKinsey from McKinsey mindset. He applied his.
Not all McKinsey people work out as CEOs of media companies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Don't embarrass me, I say. Don't embarrass me. So he came in. So he is with McKinsey mindset. So, but it didn't work. He every time he says, I go with my boss and he's not coming, what do we do? So it was staggering. The thing was staggering. And times when he was laughing, oh, One India kya hai? Kuch nahi hai. This is half baked this thing product. So then Navneet came and Praveen came. And then really it started moving. Because Navneet is a seasoned media guy. He was working in Hindu earlier. And we said it can't be left like that. It can't be left like that. All three CEOs must meet once a month. So most of the meetings used to happen in Delhi, HT office. So me, Navneet, and Praveen. And then he formed a team. They were working on this. And One India started moving, getting good clients. And even today, One India is doing pretty well. Though we have taken market share from the TOI, no doubt about it. But it is, even today I say, this has got huge prospect, opportunity, which is not been utilized perfectly. It should be, what is BO1? BO are listening. Yeah. I still believe from my core of my heart, One India can give lot of pressure to TOI. And there's no reason why. So maybe the organizational structure, how the One India works, and the stumbling blocks. Like give you an example, like one campaign they want in Solus. So Telegraph and HT offers it, the Hindu will say no, that day I can't because some other thing is there. And then these internal problems were there, and the whole process was difficult. It has been refined. Today it is more or less working, but I still believe there is a huge opportunity there.
My penultimate question, when you were retiring, in the book you say that you felt your time had come, you navigated COVID well. And in April 2013, Mr. Arup Sarkar introduced you to a gentleman called Mr. Atidev Sarkar, who was 21 years young, and he'd come from London and he'd done an internship at Financial Times, and he started in the editorial of Telegraph, and you groomed him. Mr. Sarkar said, take him in your wing and groom him. And you felt that in 2021, when you were handing over the baton, you felt he was ready to be able to lead ABP, and Dhruvo reports to him. So how does a professional, my question is, how does a professional, you work with Mr. Avik Sarkar, you work with Mr. Arup Sarkar, then you work with Mr. Atidev Sarkar. How does a professional kind of work with three different kind of people? All three are very different. They may have similarities. How do you also navigate the generational change? It is happening in many companies in the India Inc. in business world, but it's also happening in the media world. So how does one navigate that change?
Now, one is both Avik Sarkar, Arup Sarkar gave me a lot of freedom. So I had never any issue with anything. And I remember Urup Sarkar brought his son one day to me, to my room, and said, one request to you, please groom my son. He's a greenhorn at that time. He's passed out from UK. He worked in Sunday Times, and I came here.
Financial Times.
Financial Times, Sunday Times also.
Yeah, possibly. In your book you only mentioned
also in Financial Times, yes. And I said, okay, I'll take the challenge. Next few years I told Atidev, he was very shy and he speaks very little. I told him, you do one thing. In the meetings, he said, no sir, what do I talk in a meeting? I don't understand anything. I don't say anything. You just follow me. Just sit quietly in the meetings for 1 year. You just follow me, what I do. Just watch me what I do. Nothing else. And he did that exactly. 1 year he was present, but every meeting he must be present. All important meeting he was there with me. And he just watched what happens, how it works, how I manage difficult situations, how I become sometimes ruthless, how I'm sometimes very nice to people. And he's an avid learner. He learned it. So before my retirement, I told Sarkar that Atidev is now ready to take over. And he was sent to Harvard for training. He did a Harvard program. He came back.
In family business, and you trained under professor.
And same thing happened to Dhruv. Dhruv also had lot of negatives. I told him, look, in my book I've said one of the lessons is, to your subordinate, unless you tell him what is negative, you're doing a harm to him. You should tell him clearly that these are your negative points, please rectify those. He'll do a good job for him. I've done this n number of times. I've never given a very rosy picture about somebody, but many of my managers have done that. That they because of this, they think they're in a seventh heaven, they're the best performing managers, which he is not. Unless tell him, he will never change. And believe me, those people whom I have told that this is your problem, your negative, please correct this. They have come back later and told me, sir, the advice you gave us worked, and today, how you judge me? It really worked.
Right, good.
So,
good feedback at the right time and given in a nice way can
yes.
work the
So Dhruva also when he started, I told him, look, you are very good in this, but there are a lot of weaknesses in this. So try to rectify those. So Dhruva also, I groomed him for 2 years or 3 years before I picked him at that time. I said, this is my successor and he must be groomed. So, and all these negatives, tried sincerely to eliminate. I would say on a scale of 10, if the negative was 9, it's come down to maybe 3 now. And he is rectifying daily. So when he left, day I retired, I said, I have got Atidev Sarkar and Dhruvo ready to take the company. And the biggest, I would say, achievement of any CEO, or anybody, why CEO, anybody, to find a right successor. So the first job of any manager should be finding, if I am moved out, who will take over? People don't do that. People create a band of team who are, what should I say? Non-performing team, I would say, or not good performing teams. Because managers think that if they perform well, maybe my job will go away. This guy will take over. This mindset must be changed. This other way. If you can find a subordinate, a successor, then you go up actually. Then the successor will come over and you will go up in rank. Otherwise, it will remain the same. So I told them, look, the successor I have created, both Dhruvo and Atidev, Now company is in their hands. I have done my job. Now I am leaving. And thank God, 3 years already gone.
And you're still on the board of it.
ABP is doing exceedingly well under guidance of Dhruva and Madhya.
And also the ABP News business is doing
Yeah,
extremely well.
that's Avinash. That's a different story.
Yes.
Avinash Pandey is a great CEO.
Yes. Fantastic. My last question. In your tenure, you also navigated the television news business being 100% owned by ABP. In the book, you tell a story. You were in New Zealand with your wife holiday, and you get a call that Star wants to exit the news business and wants to exit, and you talk about a series of meetings with Uday, and you finally conclude and ABP becomes a national brand. What is the high point of, if you had to pick one high point of your career, what would be that?
That is part 2. Part 1 is one Abhishek comes and tells me, look, at that time, Government of India had given a notice to Star that unless you take an Indian partner and he owns 51% share, you won't be allowed to do business in India. And they are doing roaring business with Star Plus. So they had to find somebody. So every media owner jumped at it, including non-media, I don't want to name, including some non-media owners also in this. Avinash comes and tells me one day, DDP, if we venture into this, I was head of finance, will you be able to finance it? I said, if you ask me today, answer is no. But please go ahead. I'll make sure you get right finances from whatever it is, that's my job. I can assure you. You shouldn't miss this opportunity. This is a golden opportunity for us. Please go ahead. Don't think about finance at all. Leave it to me. So that was the most important story. That's how the one night ABP was transformed from a regional paper to a national name in television. We acquired 26%, 51% of.
Equity.
No, we acquired 74%. 74% equity. And that day morning it was done, deal was done. I spent about 5 days, I couldn't sleep. We were doing the deal, 5 nights, I was staying in Oberoi and the house of the lawyers, not even point area only. And I couldn't sleep. Then the deal was signed, and the next morning I remember I took the first Air India flight. It was in Indian Airlines that time, flight to Calcutta. And as plane took off, and I saw the sun rising. So I thought this is rise of sun for ABP from the east, and that is the most important. Second part is what you are saying is when we acquired fully. That time I was in New Zealand on a holiday with my wife, and then Uday Shankar was desperate. His bosses said, we don't want to own 26%. We have no say. We are the minor shareholder. Either we want 100% or no. So I was called. My lawyer said, Uday Shankar is desperate. So please come down. So I closed that part of my New Zealand. I did only half of New Zealand and came back. And settled Uday Shankar in Mumbai. And we bought the balance 26%. So we became the full owner.
And it became ABP.
And that is the history, rest is history.
Thank you. On this historic rendering of a historic movement, please give Mr. Purkayastha a big round of applause. I could go on.